Welcome back to another video. What did the ancient people know about energy, frequency, vibration, and the role it played in shaping their reality? They literally were able to create like gods, and in this video, in 5 steps, I'm going to explain to you this framework, this process that you can adopt today to begin shifting out of the current version of reality. I'm going to give you the exact things you need to know, all backed by modern day science. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. First of all, energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla spoke about this, and he had studied the ancients, and many of his inventions, such as the Wardenclyffe Tower, designed to create free energy, was built off the structures of the ancient pyramids, which we now believe are some sort of free energy generation device. But how are they able to build such amazing, incredible structures, tapping into forces that we barely understand today? They understood that the energy, the level of frequency, and the vibration of all things, of all matter in this reality is a sort of illusion that comes from higher states of mind, that comes from understanding that there's 2 planes of reality that we're living in. There's the plane of effects, which is this illusory reality that we live in, and the plane of causes, which is a result of our thoughts combined with our emotions, thoughts charged with emotions that actually get projected out into this higher plane of existence, the 4th dimension, you could even say, that then has specific effects in our reality. They understood this cycle and how they could be a part of it. And understand, before we go into this video deeper, that you were made in the image of the Creator, whether you believe in God or Allah, or you believe in, whatever you believe in, whatever spiritual system you've subscribed to. Understand that this formless substance, this energy that's all around us, creates this reality. But we also have the ability to influence it, just like you have the ability to have access to electricity, and the electricity in the right person's hands has the ability to light up a whole city. In the wrong person's hands, this electricity has the ability to burn down your house, right? I'm not an electrician. If somebody gave me a job to do some wiring in this house, that'd be a very dangerous thing to do because I don't understand that power. So the key here, first key, is to understanding this power of energy, frequency, and vibration, and how you have the ability to shift it and shape it. We're going to get into this video later. I'll give you actual practical steps on how you can do this. Number 2 is Dr. Emoto's work. He actually proves this concept and how you have this innate ability within you to shift energies and vibrations around you. The experiment he did is quite interesting, and it doesn't get the credit that it deserves. You see, Dr. Emoto, what he did is he wanted to see the effects that our thoughts, words, and emotions have on bodies of water, specifically ice crystals. And if our thoughts and emotions were able to shape these ice crystals. Now, first of all, I think it's kind of interesting that his name was Dr. Emoto and that he's actually studying emotions. But here's what he did. He basically had a bunch of participants as a part of this study, including a control. And the participants were to project a certain emotion. They were to even speak to this water that they had in a certain way. And then what he would do is he'd take all the samples and he froze them to see if it produced ice crystals and what kind of ice crystals would be produced. And more specifically, almost like a snowflake, ice crystals or snowflake that were being produced. And here's where it gets interesting. So people who were speaking to their water and projecting positive emotions, positive vibration towards their water sample had beautiful crystals form. Beautiful, nice, perfect crystals form. And I mean, I'm not an artist, but I kind of drew the idea there for you. Maybe we'll get some on the screen here as well. But the people who spoke to their water hatefully and with negative emotion and negative energy, kept projecting it at it, those ice crystals were very ugly and deformed. And he did this experiment time and again for repeatability, and the results were very much the same. Now, considering that you're a human being made up of 55 to 60% water, and you have the ability to speak, you have the ability to project thought and emotion as a frequency, as a vibration. When your vocal cords are vibrating, you're literally projecting a vibration as I'm projecting a vibration here to you. And when we do this, energy and frequency that radiates out through us literally has an effect on us at a cellular level. But if we look at Dr. Emoto's work, it would make sense that people who are in a negative mind state, speaking negatively of the conditions that we're in, would only make their conditions worse. And statistically, seeing thousands of patients when I was a paramedic, I could see, I used to actually drive people from the hospital to the cancer clinic for their treatments. This is a job that I did quite frequently. And there was always a strong correlation between people who were extremely positive, extremely optimistic, had a certain emotional frequency that they were projecting and healing their cancer, and those who were just progressively getting worse and literally speaking it into existence every time. And we're going to get into that later in this video as well, the power of your words. Now, another institute has done some incredible work on energetic systems of our body that doesn't really get touched on. The HeartMath Institute is an institute that wants to study specifically a phenomena called heart coherence. Heart coherence is basically the vibrational match between the frequency generated by your heart, which is part of a larger electromagnetic field, and the frequency generated by your brain when you're thinking specific thoughts, speaking a certain way. And when these two frequencies align, you become in a state that's called heart coherence, the heart being coherent with the mind. And what they found is this heart coherence, when it's aligned in this way, creates actually what's called a torus field around your body. That's actually 5,000 times more electromagnetically powerful than your brain. It actually overrides every vibration in your body, your heart. And here's the thing, this heart coherence is actually a combination of two things. It's a combination of your mind, so the thoughts that were being thought and projected, that were being charged by a specific emotion. And the emotion comes up from within your being. Emotions are actually stored within your body. This is why, like when I was going through burnout and PTSD, I would go to the massage therapist like every week. And no matter what they did, I had muscle tension like between parts of my back that just would never go away until I dealt with some deeply psychological trauma that I'd gone through my career, things I'd buried deep down. That's when those muscles were able to tense, release the tension, release the guarding. And so going back to this here, the emotion combined with the mind creates a specific feeling. And when this feeling is radiated out by the heart, it creates almost like a donut-shaped field around your body that can extend up to 3 to 6 feet out. Some people say even longer than that. There was a story that they told, I think it was the HeartMath Institute, where there was a mother whose child was being kidnapped, and she knew something was going wrong even though she was miles and miles away. And sure enough, following her instinct, following her heart, you could say, very common saying, she was able to figure out what was happening to her child and intervene. So that's a really interesting story and speaks to the power of your heart. We have these little sayings that we say in the English language that maybe we don't give enough power to, such as follow your heart, or the feeling is the secret. That's something Neville Goddard would say all the time. But the feeling, remember, is a combination of two things, your thoughts and your emotions. Now, earlier in the video I said emotion is basically energy in motion, and this emotion combined with your thoughts charges them. It gives them a charge, which then creates a feeling, bringing things into your reality through the magnetic force of the heart. David Hawkins has done some incredible research in the field of consciousness. He's wrote many books, but one of the best ones I've read is Power versus Force, in which he lays out this map of consciousness. And there's an emotional ladder. As you climb up this ladder, you end up raising your vibration. You end up raising the level of positivity. You end up raising the type of view of God that you have. You raise the self-perception. You also raise the process of how you process life. And let's pull up the map of consciousness here. You can see in the survival paradigm, in the lower paradigms that 99% of people are in because they've been trapped by the matrix, that they are oftentimes feeling, feelings of regret, despair, blame, humiliation, hate, craving, anxiety. These are all very low-level emotions vibrating at the level of 150 to 200. That's when things begin to change. And it's interesting because many people will never get beyond that. It takes courage to move beyond that level, to begin getting to the higher levels of understanding, to begin shifting into what he calls the integrity paradigm and the spiritual paradigm. But let's take a moment here and check in with yourself. This last week, what was the most predominant emotion that you felt? Was it hate? Was it scorn? Was it humiliation? Or was it maybe some higher level emotions like love or joy? These determine the types of outcomes that are going to be pulled into your reality. Because remember what we said at the start, reality is an illusion. This is not real. None of this is real. You're here for a very short period of time, and within you is a spiritual being. You have a spirit within you inhabiting this body like a vehicle. This vehicle is going to get old, it's going to start falling apart, and eventually it's going to die. But the spirit will continue, it will persist. And whatever experiences you've experienced here will be carried on with spirit, will be carried on with those emotional impressions that you've carried through your lifetime. Now, we've spoken a lot about the power of your emotions in pulling things into your reality. But let's not overlook the power of your thoughts, because, you could have a thought thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire. It doesn't mean you're going to become a millionaire. It's only when you have the feeling as if you already are that thing, combined with the thoughts, that things can become manifest or become realized in your reality. And this verse explains it so perfectly. It's actually from the book of John, and I'm not going to try and go religious on you at all. I'm simply a seeker of wisdom, trying to find wisdom that's going to help me understand myself better, and of course help you understand yourself better. So it goes something like this. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now remember what we said at the start. You were made in the image of the Creator. And if you were made in the image of the Creator, that means you have a spark of the divine. You have the spark of God within you. And just as God was able to speak the universe into existence, to speak what we call the Big Bang into existence through a vibration. Remember what Tesla said, everything's frequency, vibration, and energy, right? You have this ability to speak things into existence. It's a common saying I have all the time with people around me. When they're speaking negatively about their situation or they're complaining is the worst thing you can do. You're literally speaking those things into existence. They haven't happened yet, and you're actually wishing for them just by saying it. And when you get those things and they happen to you, you complain, but that's actually what you asked for. So to be mindful of your speech, to be mindful of the words that you're speaking. See, the English language is already littered with hidden words and sayings and meanings that we cast out like spells, right? That's why it's called spelling, because when you're speaking, you're actually casting out spells that are speaking things into existence. This is the power of your word. And the last one here that not many will share with you, because there's a lot of woo-woo stuff on spirituality, and I'm not gonna lie, when I first got into this and starting to go on this quest to understand myself, I went down that rabbit hole myself too, only to realize that much of this knowledge that exists already does not encourage you to take action. Because at the end of the day, you can think all the thoughts, you can have all the right emotions, but if you're not at the end of the day putting it into action and mobilizing it, then the chances of these things materializing is much less. You must be the thing that you already want to be. Don't wait, because when you wait, that energy of waiting pushes things further away from you. It's acknowledging doubt. It's acknowledging that you will not have those things, that you don't have those things yet. There are infinite versions of you out there. And for you to actually, and quantum physics shows us this, for you to actually bring these things into reality, all you have to do is match that frequency and vibration of that version of you. And that version of you, that desired reality, will be yours. Until next time, peace.